Hey, this is Ben. This is the 47th stanza of The Art of Peace. Taming my mind with the sensation of pine needles on my fingers. I made a tent out of my fingers and I was pressing them into the ground to readjust my seat, and the sensation of my fingers in the pine needles caught my attention. It's soft, it's kind of cozy, inviting. My thumb's taking the pressure of my body weight. It feels an image of Lincoln logs, the way grass overlaps. I can feel my left pinky moving, and I can feel the dried pine needles scraping against each other. I can feel this little piece of dirt under the left side of my left pinky tip. There's the tiniest of points on my right pinky tip. It's gone, pretty much. My middle fingers feel consumed by the pine needles, and as I can feel the breeze moving through the overlap in the pine needles, and I can feel parts of both my middle fingers. I can feel the temperature difference between the air and on my fingers, and it feels disjointed because the pine needles are in the way of the air. From here I'll go into my focus on my core. Pelvis, heart space, throat, top of the head, full breath. So I'm doing what's called ujjayi breathing. If you were to make the noise like you make when you blow air into your hands to make them warm, blowing air up the back of your throat, or like fogging up a window. It's that, but just with your mouth closed. So in an instant, I can make my breath really fast. I can make the exhale really fast. I can choose to go into the nose. I can choose to go out of the nose. I can choose to go into the mouth. I can choose to go out of the mouth. There is an infinite number of ways to breathe. Now, what's creating the breath, or allowing for the breath, giving the place for the breath to go, is my body. What's generating the breathing is also my body. My body is processing, bringing in and processing what's outside. And then my body is giving back what it doesn't need back outside. Breathing in, giving back. Breathing in, giving back. Now, when I'm not aware of this, it's just happening anyway. The body's doing it by itself. The body can even override. Any attempt to stop the breathing. The body can override it. The body has intelligence. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't interact with my body through my intention. So my intention, that energy, is what's dictating to my body when I choose, dictating to my body how to breathe. So I'm going to take 4 rounds of full inhale, full exhale. Normal breath. So that was my intention. I set an intention, and during the time I was going about breathing in, breathing out, there was something else going on. There was something else. There was the choice to go into a thought process, the choice to stay with the sensation of the breath, the choice to think about what I'm going to do after this. So there was a choice. I could go into the idea experience, or I could stay with present tense experience, what it actually felt like at any given moment. And that's where I spent most of my awareness. It's a hard word. I'm falling over my own experience with my own words now. It's very frustrating for me. There's the sensational experience of the breath, or there's the sensational or the idea experience. Now, you can look at either the idea, you could look at the sensation, you can do both, but what's particularly interesting is the choice. What is the choice? What's making the choice? That's awareness. That's the particularly incredible part. It's all incredible. That's the wrong word again. It's all incredible, but that's the power piece. The piece isn't the idea. The power isn't in the idea or in the experience. The power is the choosing. The power is the awareness to choose. That's the piece. That's the piece that gives us the real strength, the real fullness that we're capable of. Because what that posits is that regardless of what's changing, the awareness is still there. And if you hone that and nurture the practice, then regardless of what shows up, you can choose how to respond appropriately. You don't get pulled away by an idea, you don't get pulled away by an experience. So when you practice breath, you're practicing honing awareness. Inside of that awareness is emptiness. And the reason it's empty is because it allows what fucking ever, to just flow right through it. Doesn't hold on to anything. There's no judgment whatsoever about anything that flows through. Consequently, there's no stuckness, there's no holding, there's no attachment, there's no magnetism, there's none of that. Allow things to be as they are, interacting with it appropriately. And what typically happens from this space is the creation of sustainable relationships. Sustainable relationships with yourself, sustainable relationships with the nature, with sustainable relationships with people, sustainable relationships internally and externally. And those sustainable relationships are that which our great teachers have been teaching us since the dawn of awareness, since the dawn of recognition, the dawn of interaction. There's balance, there's softness, there's hard when it's appropriate, there's soft when it's appropriate, there's all of the above. Our biology pulls at us. And our biology can pull at us not just from the experience of the body, but also from the experience of the mind. So my biology has been pulling at me all my life in the form of shame, in the form of unsustainable internal environment, anger, rage, frustration. I blamed my suffering on my biology. I blamed my suffering on my physical presentation, on my inability to get this or that. The idea would influence my biology through my hormones, the experience, the judgment of the experience of my body would influence my ideas. My inattention to the reality of my being facilitated the cycle. I had no clue that I wasn't my thoughts. No clue. So the experience was just volatile, all over the place. Blame, fear, excitement, joy, anger, rage. And I just blindly went. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's good, I'll get that. That's bad. Ugh. Now, I had the wonderful fortune to have great parents, have an incredible life, but there were many experiences in my life that really had huge impact on me. Nothing unique about that. But there was something powerful about certain aspects of my experience. Kind of like the way the body can breathe on its own, the way certain experiences, certain characteristics, certain qualities in life kind of take care of themselves. There's a power to them. That was there. So my experience now from the perspective of awareness is that the cycle is actually supportive. The idea influences the body influences the idea. And I think that's true with awareness itself. That cycle also works in an opposite direction, not in the direction of unsustainable, but in the direction of sustainable. And I think the direction of sustainable can be a cycle, and it's proven to be a cycle for me. The way my breath can be sustained without me, without my attention, is not isolated to just that. And I started to see this, but it wasn't until I started to see what I was from the perspective of awareness, interacting with that choice, that it started to make any sense. The 47th stanza of The Art of Peace. The way of the warrior is based on humanity, love, and sincerity. The heart of martial valor is true bravery, wisdom, love, and friendship. Emphasis on physical aspects of warriorships, emphasis on the physical aspects of warriorship is futile, for the power of the body is always limited.